You are listening to the William Gomes Podcast. I am William Gomes, and I am grateful to have you here. Today, I want to talk about something tender, vulnerable, and often misunderstood. It is the process autistic children go through when they begin to rediscover who they are after years of masking. Many children learn to hide their natural reactions, their interests, their discomforts, and even their personality, simply to survive environments that are confusing or overwhelming. When masking becomes a way of life, a child can slowly lose touch with their own identity, and when burnout or distress forces the mask to fall, they do not just need recovery, they need rediscovery. Unmasking can feel frightening for a child because they have spent so long shaping themselves around the expectations of others. They have tried to be calm, quiet, accommodating, or invisible. They have copied what others do, not because it felt natural, but because it felt safer. And when they no longer have the energy to keep up that act, the world can feel uncertain. They may not know who they are without the scripts they have followed for so long. This is where identity rebuilding begins. It does not happen with a sudden revelation. It happens slowly, in small, honest moments. A child may begin to show preferences they never expressed before. They may reject activities they once tolerated. They may explore new interests or return to old ones with new intensity. They may express emotions more clearly or more frequently. They may tell you when something feels uncomfortable instead of pushing through it silently. These moments are not signs of regression. They are signs of truth. They are glimpses of the child beneath the mask. Identity rebuilding often starts with sensory honesty. A child who once forced themselves to wear certain clothes may suddenly refuse them. A child who always stayed in busy spaces may start avoiding them. A child who maintained eye contact because they thought they had to may now look away with relief. These changes are not stubbornness, they are clarity. The child is learning what feels right in their body, sometimes for the first time. Another part of identity rebuilding involves expression. During masking, many children silence themselves to avoid judgment or confusion. When they finally feel safe, their voice begins to change. They may speak more freely or more bluntly. They may communicate differently or ask for things they never asked for before. They may laugh more, stim more, or speak less, depending on what feels most authentic. Their communication begins to reflect their true pace and comfort, not the pace they believed they had to follow. Interests also play a powerful role in identity. Autistic interests are not just hobbies. They are stabilizers, sources of joy, and ways of making sense of the world. After burnout, a child may reconnect with interests that had been pushed aside. They may dive deeply into topics that bring comfort, fascination, or emotional grounding. These interests are not distractions. They are anchors that support identity. They help the child feel like themselves again. There can also be emotional shifts. A child who masked their emotions for years may now feel everything more openly. They may show frustration when something feels wrong. They may cry more easily. They may express joy more intensely. This emotional visibility can feel new or surprising to the adults around them, but it is part of becoming whole again. When a child allows themselves to feel openly, it means they no longer fear the consequences of being honest. For families, this stage can bring mixed feelings. It can be beautiful to see a child reclaim their voice, their interests, and their comfort, but it can also be confusing or challenging because the child's emerging identity may not match the version of themselves they have presented for years. Parents may need time to adjust as well. It is important to remember that the child is not changing into someone new. They are revealing who they always were. Supporting this process requires gentle acceptance. The child needs time to explore, without pressure to perform or explain themselves. They need adults who listen more than they question. They need reassurance that showing discomfort is allowed. They need encouragement to follow their interests without shame. And they need to know that they do not have to earn belonging by pretending. Identity rebuilding is a quiet kind of bravery. It takes courage for a child to shed the habits that kept them safe. It takes strength to trust that their true self will be accepted, and it takes time to rebuild confidence in a world that once demanded so much masking. As the child grows more secure, you may notice moments of lightness and authenticity, a spontaneous smile, a relaxed posture, a new interest shared with excitement, a stim expressed without hesitation, a clearer boundary. These moments show that the child is becoming grounded again. They are learning that their needs matter. They are learning that their voice has value. They are learning that their identity is not something to hide, but something to honor. When we support a child through this process, we are not just helping them recover from burnout. We are helping them build a more stable foundation for the future, a foundation built on truth, comfort, trust, and self-understanding. And that foundation becomes the starting point for growth, resilience, and joy. Identity is not something an autistic child needs to be taught. It is something they need space to uncover. When we offer that space, when we show unconditional acceptance, we create a path where they can walk without fear and exist without apology. Thank you for listening. This is the William Gomes Podcast. Take care of yourself, stay curious, and I will speak with you again soon.